Hello everybody, this is white lace embroidered fabric. Here you can see the white lace on which the embroidery is done. There is a thread which has been wrapped on the needle and it is going through the fabric, and the loops are created with these thread. If you see, uh, he's removing the thread through the needle and he's wrapping it on the needle and creating a loop. So the loop is created all around the flower with the thread. So the embroidery is done by the thread and the loop is created. And this is a technique of embroidery which has been done. We have amazing skilled workers who can create wonderful embroideries. It's a very basic thread and the loop has been created. Now you can see these sequences. This needle is known as Ari, and it's a long needle where the sequences are being taken in the needle at the starting point of the needle. So he's trying to collect maximum sequence, and he has taken 3 to 4 needles. He's taken 4 needles, and you can see the front portion. All the sequences have come in the needle. Yeah, you can see there's a gold strip below that the sequence have come. He's taking the sequences, doing the embroidery, and getting the thread from the bottom of the fabric, from the back side of the fabric. You see, he's taking the sequences. He's collectively taken 6 to 7 sequences and stitching it on the fabric. He's completed the second line. Now he started with the third line. So these are overlapping sequences. And this is the way this technique of embroidery of sequence is created. You can see with the last finger, he's trying to uh, throw the sequence on the fabric and get it stitched. And the line of sequence is being stitched. And this is a pattern created on the flower. It is really beautifully done. This is being continued. Now you can see this is a different color of lace fabric on which the embroidery is being done. Now this process is you're getting the fabric stitched on the frame. You see there is a white fabric which is coming out. So this lace fabric is attached to that white fabric, and this white fabric is attached to the wooden frame on which the embroidery will be done. So this is a basic thing. This is a first procedure where the lace fabric is being attached to the wooden frame, which has a white fabric on which the lace has been stitched. It's a very simple stitch for the lace to stay on the wooden frame. So the lace fabric will be uh, staying on the wooden frame and will be completely tightened so that the embroidery could be done. So it's continuing from the width of the fabric. Now you see this fabric is attached to the wooden frame and it is ready for embroidery. This lace fabric, you can see it is tightened completely. So when we do the embroidery, it is easier for them to, you know, use the needle and thread to go through the fabric and do the embroidery. You see the wooden frame on the left and right, both are parallel. Now you can see he's just checking how tight is the fabric being stretched on the wooden frame. Now this is the width of the fabric which is being tightened with the wooden frame. You see the length of the fabric is attached on both the sides of the frame, that is the left side of the fabric and the right side. Now the widths are being taken, even they are tightened, so there is no bubble in between the fabric, or it is not loose. You see he's trying it with the thread and he's attaching it with the wooden frame so that fabric remains tight. So these are the bugle beads which he is going to do embroidery on this fabric. It's a it's a tone to tone matching color bead. So these beads are kept on a small velvet fabric, so it's easier for them to pick up through the needle. You see now he's taken this needle which is called Ari, and he's trying to put in the maximum beads on the edge of the needle. So he'll get around 8 to 10 beads at one time, and he'll try to hang it with his last finger. Now you see, he's taken the thread from bottom of the fabric, he's doing the embroidery and getting the thread through the beads. He's going to get the stitch done on the fabric. So the beads are attached to the fabric. At one time he's attaching 5 beads, and then he will close it with a stitch. He will close it with a thread stitch. You see, his left hand is below the fabric, his right hand is above the fabric, and he's sitting in front of the wooden frame. So both the hands are working. On the left hand, on the right, the hand which is on the lower side is holding the thread, and on the top he's taking the thread through the beads and getting the stitch done. So it's a very good technique of doing the embroidery. This is the second time he's taking the beads, and this process will go on. So he's done the same thing.